Good morning, everybody. The Commerce, Justice, Science Subcommittee of the Appropriations Committee will come to order. Today, we are taking the testimony and engaging in a conversation with our Director of the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, with Director Mueller. This will be a two-part hearing. One will be here in open and public session, and then because of the sensitivity of issues and budget involved for the FBI's fight against the global war against terrorism, we will have a classified briefing. So upon the conclusion of this phase, we will recess and reconvene in our classified environment at the Visitors Center. And all members are welcome, and this is where we can have an additional in-depth conversation. Today, the subcommittee will hear from the Director of the FBI. We're grateful for Director Mueller's service and his agreement to serve 2 more years to work with our president in order to keep our streets, communities, and country safe. We begin our examination of the FBI's 2013 budget request with this open hearing. As chairwoman of this subcommittee, when we look at the FBI budget, I have 3 priorities. National security, which is how is the FBI working to keep America safe. Community security, how is the FBI working with local law enforcement to keep our families and our neighborhoods safe. And then also oversight and accountability to ensure that we're spending taxpayers' dollars wisely and ensuring that we get value for our dollar. Today we'll learn, and I'm going to ask unanimous consent in the interest of time that my full statement be included in the record. Having said that, my oral statement to the point is that we know that we ask the FBI to carry out extraordinary responsibilities, keeping 330 million Americans safe from terrorism and also violent crime, to continue their work to dismantle organized crime, which now has many new faces, many new locations, and many new techniques. And then the despicable drug cartels that continue to exist in our country and threaten our borders. We also ask the FBI to work to combat gang violence, illegal drug and gun smuggling, and at the same time help us catch sexual predators. The President's budget request for the FBI is $8.2 billion. This request reflects the stringent budget reality in which we find ourselves. There are no new initiatives in the FBI's budget request this year, and only one modest targeted increase, and that's the FBI's ability to fight mortgage fraud. In fact, the FBI will be asked to do more with less in 2013. In order to afford to continue FBI's critical efforts, we will have the budget proposes $63 million in savings from lower FBI programs, and the FBI will also have a give-back provision. FBI also is tasked to become the banker for all law enforcement, helping interoperable communication equipment purchases, not for just the FBI, but DEA, ATF, and U.S. Marshals. We really counsel the FBI to really watch this very carefully, because as we look at our cousins in the Department of Homeland Security appropriation, interoperable communications has been one of the biggest damn boondoggles I saw. Everybody bought a gadget, everybody got a gizmo, and at the end of the day, none of those gadgets and gizmos could talk to anybody. So we're counting on the FBI to work to get it straight, and at the same time, we need to get an update on their work on the Sentinel program, our virtual case management file. Also, we want to be sure we take a look at the sequester consequences and what would be the impact on the FBI if there was an 8% cut. And we need to know how this will impact the FBI's ability to carry out its mission. In the area of national security, the FBI was charged with protecting us from international terrorism. We disrupt terrorist plots before they happen by identifying, tracking, and defeating them, and then also working to dismantle weapons of mass destruction. This definitely is not J. Edgar Hoover's FBI anymore. Counterterrorism and counterintelligence make up a substantial part of the FBI budget. Just weeks ago, we saw the FBI's counterterrorism efforts to up close when they arrested a man who wanted to blow up the U.S. Capitol. Our nation also faces a new kind of threat. That threat occurs in cyberspace. So we have cyber spies, cyber terrorists, organized crime involved with cyber. Cyber is the new area. And we look forward to getting ideas and a concrete budget from the FBI director on how we can keep us safe in that area and how they work with other intel agencies. I also want to know how the FBI is protecting Americans from violent crime and also fraud in their communities. The FBI targets sophisticated criminal organizations who prey on the vulnerable, the child pornographer, the trafficking in children and prostitution, the schemes and scams and bilking people either out of Medicare or out of mortgage or fraud. And I'm concerned that this budget is flat to fight violent crime and gangs. I know my very able and wonderful colleague, Senator Hutchinson, is going to talk about the southwest border. She's jazzed about it, and so am I, because of the ongoing threat at our border. State and local budgets are under stress, and we want to hear how you are meeting that. I'm going to conclude my remarks, though, by saying this budget is not about numbers and statistics. It's about people. Make sure that Americans are not victimized by any bad person or anyone with a predatory intent towards them. But we couldn't do it without the people who work for the FBI. So, Director, before I turn to Senator Hutchinson, I just want to thank you, and in thanking you for not only your service, but I'd like to thank you in behalf of all of those wonderful people who work every single day for the FBI, those that are out there in the field offices, working on joint task forces, those that are around the world in, at times, very rugged and very dangerous legged positions. And I know that the FBI works every day to protect us, that the people who work hard there every day are duty-driven and dedicated, and they are, in many ways, our boots on the ground in local communities and also working with our intel and military agencies around the world. This is why I want them to know I respect them for the work they do, and I will fight for them in terms of their pay, benefits, and pensions. So if we're going to say thank you, we want to thank it not only with words, but with deeds.